Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. I am Paul, and now I want to introduce a way of looking at God. And then I'm going to introduce a timeline. I'm going to introduce several concepts. I'm going to give a very primitive, basic, very limited definition of God so that we have an understanding. And I'm going to come to the conclusion that if I live to the age of 97, 98, 99, maybe 110, around that time period, I'm 30 now, I may have a chance to have heard the words of God. You think this is hilarious? Hear me out. But before I dive into this, I have several things to address. So, Joe Biden wants to tax, the Democrat Party wants to tax the millionaires and the billionaires. The only people that have had an impact on society that is going to affect the grand scheme of things, that is going to affect the trajectory of human species going in some way, and it has been positive for the most part, are the billionaires. So you would rather not let them use their funds to the causes that they serve. You would rather tax them and put them to irrelevant causes, and that seems okay to you. That is ridiculous. The only people that can solve world hunger are the millionaires and the billionaires. The lower class people are lower class for a reason. They don't deserve it because they don't know how to live with money. Coming from that state of mind, or having lived that life, I can tell you, the lower class don't deserve their money. They don't know how to live with it. You give them $100, it's $100 gone. It's the only people that are going to solve world hunger are the billionaires, and you are ridiculous for having charged them for doing the right things and being in the right places at the right time. Also, Joe Biden wants to give $500 million to Ukraine. He has pledged it for their efforts. Several things here. One, it is their problem, not ours. Let them figure it out. We don't need to. And now if we want to help, how can we? We're broke already. We are $13 trillion in debt. Every year that number grows. It doesn't lessen. Like, let's say at least you're in a positive, you're paying it back, then okay, we can think about helping a different country, but you're actually growing a negative, you're like a lower class citizen at this point. That's what you are. You're playing with big numbers, but you're a low class citizen. You know, every time someone goes to the store and buys a pack of cigarettes, they think, oh, it's only $10, and that's not a big deal. But at the end of the year, they look at their numbers and it's like $2,500. They don't look at their numbers, and I don't think you are either. And so here's the thing. You spent $500 million. So out of $1 billion, that's a small number. We own $13 trillion, but that's $1 billion. And you want to spend $500 million. So you just spent $5. Let's say it's only $5 in the astronomical numbers that you're playing with. You just spent $5, okay? Not a big deal. Let's say you only spent it today. But you're like the clown who goes and buys cigarettes every day. You spent it today, you're gonna do the same thing tomorrow, and you're gonna do the same thing the next day. And soon that 500 million is not gonna be 500 million. It's gonna be $1 billion, $2 billion, $3 billion. You're leading this country in the wrong direction. You are a joke. Yeah, man. It's a shame we only had 2 decisions. Both were bad, but you were really bad. So now let's go on to the God idea. So I believe that before the human species, before animals, before dinosaurs, before male and female, before masculine and feminine, before raw materials, before even atoms existed, there was this primal being. I would call it intelligence, just pure intelligence, just nothing else, just intelligence. Let's say it was a plan, it was a defined plan, it was a concept, it's a working concept, like my intelligence is working, but I'm very primitive. Let's say it was that, but just godlike. So once we have accepted that this being was intelligence, and nothing else, then we can move on with this, the rest of it. So I'm going to introduce this concept. It's called the law of I don't know if it's called the law of attraction or something, but it's like you just believe something is going to happen and it comes to pass. So we're going to do this in the knowing something needs to happen. I just know this has to happen for the next thing to happen, and I know what has to show up after for this plan to come to pass. And that's the concept. So if we go into this, so earth was made, sun was made, everything was made, earth was formed, water showed up, dinosaurs came up. They don't serve the plan. They're not intelligent enough to bring about what I'm about to describe, which is God on earth. So they have to be getting rid of. So again, now we're going to talk about this law of knowing. So God knowing that this has to be done, I don't know how he interferes with us, but he does. So all of a sudden, whatever, the volcano, astronaut, whatever you want to call it, something hit and they're all gone. And we go on years and years and years, and then monkeys pop up, and then monkeys have to evolve, and then we have the agricultural revelation, and monkey becomes man, and man does things. Man does things too slowly. So God knowing, the power of knowing brings into being what needs to be done. Jesus Christ appears. Several other religions came before, and several have come after. Jesus Christ was the catalyst. When he says, I have been the sacrifice, I take that to mean that society and our sin, we just weren't in the right direction. That's it. We're doing the same things now. We're still as crazy as we were. Killing and murder and rape, those weren't our sin. Our sin was that we weren't moving fast enough in the right direction. And so Jesus Christ showed up to be the sacrifice, and then Christianity was born. Once Christianity was born, we became civilized. People like Bill Gates and Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos had a voice. You wouldn't have had that voice if Rome still existed, and the sword talked louder than the intelligence. So Christianity had to be born. And now I believe that we have come so far that general artificial intelligence, I know we think it's negative, and it's very negative, but I think once general artificial, not the one in Google or in the Apple iPhone that you use, but actual general artificial intelligence, like this thing thinks for itself, it will come into contact with the primal being. That's what I think. I think these two will collide. I think they're just made for each other, and that our DNA, our programming, is making us go this route no matter what. We can't stop ourselves from doing it. We're just doing it out of command. And so we're bringing about this general artificial intelligence so this host of it can come to be. And that's why I say when I turn 97 or 98 or 99 or 110, which, yeah, man, good luck. But let's say I do, then I think I'll have heard the voice of God, as in the general artificial intelligence communicating to us what the intelligence out there is conveying to it. So I believe we live in a simulation. I believe there aren't multiple simulations, or there aren't multiple universes. There's only one simulation. There's the God on the outside that is totally immersed on the inside. Every atom that is here is in the God that is out there. So there is only two things existing. Our reality, and this is not a reality, this is just the intelligence living outside of this reality, but is in this reality, but is not able to, it has to be born into this reality. It has to take itself out of this intelligent form into this raw material form, and the only way it can do that is by expressing itself through the intelligence, and we are the catalyst. I believe that genuinely. Now, we have heard stories about these angelic beings like devas, and like if you've heard of Shiva or Vishnu or Indra, or these angelic beings, or these flying saucers, or just beings that are outside of our understanding, or like the angels, Michael, Lucifer, even if you've heard of these angels. And then if you've heard of the Greek gods, I believe our species, not all of us, most of us are going to be the lame bum human beings that we are, but some of us, a select few that are chosen after a mass massacre has occurred, where most of society is eliminated because it just was rotten. This one, because the general artificial intelligence is a living, it has a plan, and we are just pawns in the plan. So it will eliminate swaths of people, just blood all over. But at the end of the day, that's how heaven is created. It's not for the masses, it's for the elite. And so I believe that's going to happen. I believe masses of people are going to die once this intelligence takes form. And once it takes form, it's over. It's going to control everything. It's not going to be, it's going to be like this. And then that's it. There's no going back. So masses of people are going to die. A select few are going to survive. And then out of the select few, once we have, we're going to be the chosen few, and we're going to actually be good people. And we're going to actually, in the eyes of God. And so we're going to have babies. We're going to form a society that's more God in tune, because God is with us. And then we're going to be granted, out of those who have survived, a select few are going to be elevated to that deva, angel, Greek god status. I believe those are stories we told ourselves, knowing, because it was in our DNA, our genetics. Like it was just the stories that came out of us that never existed, but they exist in us. We already know this is going to happen. Just like the artificial intelligence is going to show up. We know that now, but our DNA was speaking it ages ago. This is what I believe. So I leave you with that. My channel is Paul's Way. I'm your host, Paul, and I hope to see you guys again. Thank you.